Hello and welcome back to We Met Behind the Castle. Today I thought we would get into some Halloween Horror Nights information, talk about the tickets that have been released, talk about some of the houses because we've gotten all but one, and then we're going to talk about some of the scare zones as well that have been released so far. It is July 17th, so we do not have all the announcements yet, but they should be coming within the next week or so. And then we're going to head out to Universal Studios here in a little bit and update you all on what's going up inside of the park. That's the new kitty cat. She's ready to get this started, so let's talk a little bit about Halloween Horror Nights. It does start on August 30th and runs through November 3rd this year. It's the longest event that they've ever done. We've now extended into August. We even have a start of August 29th, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But I am so excited. This is my favorite time of year. Just bought my Frequent Fear Plus pass today, and we'll talk about all the ticket information that you need to know as you're planning your Halloween Horror Nights trip. So let's jump right into some news from Universal Studios, and it'll impact some people that are looking to buy some of the Frequent Fear passes with some of the Express Pass add-ons. So due to demand, Halloween Horror Nights Ultimate Frequent Fear Pass with Express, Frequent Fear Pass with Express, Frequent Fear Plus Pass with Express are all currently sold out, so you cannot buy the Frequent Fear passes at all with the add-on of Express. That means you can still buy the Express passes individually, and you can still buy the Frequent Fear passes individually, but you cannot combine them where you can have the Frequent Fear so you get access throughout the whole season with the added the addition of an Express Pass for every night that you go. So the ticket that included those two combined, the Frequent Fear and the Express Passes, are no longer being sold. There's no announcement if Universal will release more as the season goes on, but right now, if you've got a Frequent Fear Pass and you're looking to skip the line, or you're looking for an Express line, you have to buy the individual ticket for Express Pass. Talk about some of the ticket options. You have the single night ticket, which you're going to be able to buy for every single night. There is not a night that has been announced that is sold out yet, and we are again recording this on July 17th. So if you're watching this in September, you might have some of those dates in October that are currently sold out. But again, in July, I'm looking at the whole calendar, and all of the tickets are available for single night only, and that runs from $83 to $123 plus tax, just depending on the night that you're going. Now, Universal Studios and Halloween Horror Nights and even Disney have started to do like this flex pricing based on the amount of people that are going that night to the event. So, for instance, single night tickets earlier in the season, like in August and September, are going to be a lot cheaper than the ones that you're going to run into when you get into October. Now, $83 is typically on a Wednesday night, so the cheapest ticket that you can buy is you're going to have to go to the event on a Wednesday. There's no difference, there really isn't, as far as the experience is concerned, except for the crowd levels. Crowd levels are extremely low on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And I would even say early on Friday, it's not as crowded. As the night goes on, it gets a little bit more crowded. But then by like 11 p.m., it starts to die out, which is every night. But if you're going to buy a single night ticket and you have the flexibility to do middle of the week, I would highly recommend it, because it is one of the best experiences when the crowd levels are at their lowest. And Wednesday night is going to be the cheapest. So that $83 plus tax, I think it ends up being like $87. That's definitely worth it if you can afford to go during the week. If you're coming down here on vacation, Wednesday and Thursday are easily the best nights to go. I've been on a couple of those, and I might even try to go out there this year on one of those nights, because it is such a good experience. So relaxed, so calm, not very crowded, and well worth the money to go out there. So that's the single night tickets. All of them are still available, and they do range from that $83 to $123, just to let you know as you're starting to book your trips to Halloween Horror Nights. So like I said, all of the Frequent Fear passes with Express are all sold out for the season so far. Again, we don't have announcements from Universal whether they're coming back or not. That does not mean, however, that you cannot buy an individual Express Pass. I will warn you, Express Passes can be very expensive. That's why a lot of people thought it was a great deal, and that's why all the Express Passes with that added perk of the Frequent Fear Passes with the Express added on for the season was so enticing for people, because individually, single Express Passes do cost quite a bit of money. They're $150 to $240 plus tax, again, depending on that flex pricing of when you do visit. So for instance, on Wednesdays, they're typically $150. And then as you get closer to the weekend, that's when you start to see the ones that are closer to the $200 price tag. Middle of like September, beginning of October, and then middle of October, that seems to be where people are planning on coming to Halloween Horror Nights, or when they expect the most people coming to Halloween Horror Nights, because that's when the prices start to escalate pretty quickly. I would say Saturdays are the busiest days of all of Halloween Horror Nights, and that doesn't matter what time of year. It's September all the way through November. Saturdays are going to be your busiest nights. Sunday, out of the weekend days, are the best to go because a lot of people are going back to school or work on Monday, so they don't stay out late for Halloween Horror Nights. But if you're going to buy Single Express, I would wait a little bit, because we bought Single Express. So in 2022, we bought Single Express on opening night. It went flawlessly. We were done with all the houses, all the scare zones, tribute store, and everything else that we wanted to see. We were done by 1 a.m. Last year, we took Matt and Rachel, which are our friends that we go often with in Halloween Horror Nights, and you'll see Matt in some of the videos coming up. We did Single Express on opening night, and we just got all the houses done by 2 a.m. when the park does close for Halloween Horror Nights. It opens at 6:30. The gates are opening at 6:30 this year. You can do Stay and Scream, and we'll talk a little about Stay and Scream and what that means. But Express Pass, we felt was worth it in 2022. In 2023, something happened where I think they were, and again, this might be why some of the Frequent Fear Pass Express add-ons were taken back or had less numbers, was because I think a lot of people bought the Frequent Fear Plus passes, the Frequent Fear Passes plus Express. So many people bought it that it caused a lot of people to go into the Express lines, and then you had the individual Express tickets that were sold. So I think it kind of snowballed, and there was a lot of waiting that you had to do for Express Pass. I don't know if it stayed that way, because we didn't buy Express Pass anymore that season, but we loved doing it in 2022 on opening night because you got all the houses done. I would say wait until maybe the third week of September before they go up to an extreme price. I would wait to buy my individual Express Passes into the middle of the season. One, the scares are going to be better. They've got the Express lines figured out. And it's just a better experience. So I would not buy Express Pass on these opening days. It can be hard because team members are still trying to learn how to kind of balance the Express lines. But that's just some advice from me and our own personal experience that we had. You might have a different experience if you buy them on opening day, or you've already bought them for opening day. It might go really well again this year. But we had two very different experiences when we bought Express Passes for opening night. Let's jump into a little bit more, and then we'll get into what the Frequent Fear Passes are. New this year is the Halloween Horror Nights Premium Scream Night, which is one night only, and it's going to be on Thursday, August 29th, which is now the unofficial opening day of Halloween Horror Nights. So you can buy this ticket still. It is still available. It is pricey, but it is described as by Universal as get a sneak peek of Halloween Horror Nights at an exclusive new event, face terrifying haunted houses and shorter wait times, and more. So a couple things with this. It's inclusive all you can eat, and then I think you can all you drink non-alcoholic beverages. You'll get a souvenir. I think you get a lanyard as well. Shorter wait lines. It says you get pulsed through the house, so smaller parties, and you have breaks between you and the party in front of you and the party behind you, so you get better scares. It says that there's going to be reduced wait times. I think there will, just because of the limited capacity, but I worry just because when they're pulsing people through the house, that'll take some time, because SeaWorld does that as well, and SeaWorld's wait times are longer at certain points because they do push your family or your party through first, and then the group behind you is not like right behind you like a conga line. They kind of wait a little bit. So I don't know how this is going to go. It's a first time they've ever done this. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see if people think that this is worth the money, but everything that I can kind of gather as far as Halloween Horror Nights, I don't know if I'd want to pay the price tag on this to go, because the first night scares aren't as good because they're still trying to figure that out and how to work their scares. You know, team members are still trying to figure out lines, food, drinks. Like, it is opening day, and it's hard to perfect something on opening day. So the more time that it, and I think the more time goes on, they might add another night like this some other time in the middle of the season. But right now, I kind of want to see how this goes. I think it could be really good, and I think there's going to be some issues because there's issues every night, but we'll see. We'll see how it happens and what happens. But this is $350 plus tax if you do want to go and you do not have an annual pass. Annual pass holders do get a discount on this premium Scream Night, and that is $325 with the annual pass, and then you add on tax for both of those. So pretty pricey event, and again, I just don't know how this is going to go. So we're going to wait and see. Maybe we try this at one point. I don't know, but definitely an interesting offer. And I really think that Universal is trying different things to see what they can do with Halloween Horror Nights to make it a little bit different. We're going to talk RIP Tour. So the Halloween Horror Nights RIP Tour is a guided VIP walking tour of HHN. You can see more with the priority VIP entry. So you get front of the line access. They actually take you up to the front of the houses, each of the houses, when it is your time to go. One thing that they do that's really cool is they tell you some background information. So from the creative team of Halloween Horror Nights, you get this backstory that we don't all get as regular guests. So, I mean, they're telling you details to look for, how long things took to build and create, some of the things that you can look for and like have like a backstory on. They tell you things that are hidden inside of Halloween Horror Nights houses. So sometimes there's like little frogs that are hidden, or spiders, or whatever it might be. The creative team has a lot of fun, and there's just a lot of fun facts. They tell you about the movies, they tell you about the IPs, they tell you about the original houses. They'll talk a lot about the backstory of things. And again, Universal is very selective on what they release to the public still as far as these stories are concerned, because they want some of that experience to be exclusive to some of these tours. So I've never done one. I personally don't know anybody that's done one, but I've seen online that people have done them. And the VIP tours, or the RIP tour guides, are so good at what they do. There is this level of care and passion they have for this event, just like everybody else is probably doing these tours. And it truly is a magical experience, I guess, if you want to kind of quote off Disney a little bit there. But some things that are included: exclusive VIP entrance to Universal Studios. I've got from Disney on the brain. Guided walking tour of the event. Priority VIP entry into the houses. Commemorative RIP tour credential, lantern, and button. And then you get a pre-tour reception with light appetizers available to tour guests at the time printed on your ticket. Access to exclusive cash bar locations during the tour. Must be 21 years old with a photo ID to I guess, divulge in that. And then Universal Express unlimited ride access to skip the regular lines at all participating rides. So all the rides that are open for Halloween Horror Nights, if your group wants to go ride it or you want to go ride that ride, you're able to do that as well. And then you have reserved seating sections for it was Nightmare Fuel. I don't think they've announced it yet, so I don't know if it's the same. I don't believe it's going to be Nightmare Fuel this year. I think it's going to be something different. That's just a guess. I have no idea. I could be wrong. There's going to be multiple parties in this group. There is an exclusive VIP RIP tour that you can actually call Universal and they'll give you pricing. They didn't list any pricing on their website, but I would guess if it's private, it's probably going to be upwards of that $500 mark per person. And again, this is going to run you about, I think it said $370 per person plus tax to $510 plus tax. And this does not include park admission. So you actually have to have admission into the park. So that's either a single night ticket or a frequent flyer pass. So that, on top of that, I mean, that's a $450 to $600 night. I mean, it could get very pricey very quickly. Actually, it'd probably take even more close to like $500 and up. So you're kind of paying that top end that you would get with the regular RIP tour for the private one. So it would get pretty expensive. I don't know anybody that's done the private one or the group one, but everything I have heard online and some of the videos that are online about the RIP tour it is totally worth the money if you have the cash to do it. So I want to check it out one time. I want to do it one time and see what it's all about. But until then, enjoy your RIP tours. And speaking of tours, we're going to talk about the Halloween Horror Nights Behind the Screams Unmasking the Horror Tour a lot to take in with this one, so buckle up. It is a daytime VIP tour with lights on. Look at Halloween Horror Nights houses. Pick from 3 to the 6 house tour. So there's 2 different ones. The 3 house tour, is $100, and it ranges all the way to $160. Again, on that flex pricing. The later you wait, the more expensive it's going to be. And if you're doing it during the weekday, you're going to get a better deal. 6 houses, that one's $180 to $210 per person, and this is all before tax is added on. And again, I think everything that I've read about these, I've not done one myself, everything I've read about it, the photos that you're allowed to take, in certain instances they'll let you take photos inside of the houses. It's pretty much a lot of the rooms. I mean, there's some rooms I think they don't let you, if I can remember correctly, but they give you exclusive behind the scenes access to 3 to 6 houses with the lights on, no scare actors, quiet, no music. The tour guide is great, pointing out different things that you can look for when you're at the event later on in the evening if you do stick around to do it. But it looks like so much fun. Let's get into a little bit of, like, there's details for each of them. So again, you do not have park admission included with this, so you need to have admission into Universal Studios Orlando. So you need to actually have Universal tickets, whether it's the park hopping or an annual pass or a single ticket, whatever it might be, for the day that you're going to your Unmasking the Horror tour. It's for the one ticket for one guest, obviously, guided informational walking tour of 3 of the Halloween Horror Nights houses, and a chance to photograph select rooms and select houses at the discretion of the Universal Studios Orlando VIP tours. Unmasking the Horror tour are daytime lights on tours of select haunted houses. Tours last up to 2.5 hours for a 3-house tour, with groups consisting of no more than 12 guests. So they do limit the size of people, or the size of groups that are going with you inside of the unmasking tours. And it is kind of like a combination tour. So again, you're going to have multiple parties inside of the same group. The morning and afternoon 3-house tour is not a combination tour and will be the same 3 haunted houses for each of the tours. So they don't want you kind of combining the morning with the evening tours. You can't do that. They don't want to show one group 3 houses and then the other group a different 3 houses, because it's not fair. So, like, you're not getting a random select 3 houses. The 3-house tour is always going to be the same 3 houses, and the 6-house tour is always going to be the same 6 houses. The 6 haunted house Unmasking the Tour ticket, 1 guest, a guided informational walking tour of 6 of the haunted houses, with your chance again to take photos in select rooms at the discretion of the VIP tours. Unmasking the Horror are daytime lights on tours, selected houses that VIP will pick. Tours last up to 5 hours for 6 house tours. So, like, I was thinking about this, right? And like that's like 45 minutes in a house. That's insane. Like, I mean, I get it that you're gonna have breaks and stuff in between, and they'll talk about houses outside of houses as well. But you're gonna get to spend a lot of time with lights off inside some of these Halloween Horror Nights houses that you never really get to see, because if you're like me, I'm not walking through those houses really taking in a whole lot of the atmosphere. The scare actors are interrupting my walk through the houses. They scare me. So, like, I've got a buddy like Matt that you'll see in the videos, where once he gets used to it, he can walk through the houses and look around. I'm still like looking around. I'm like, I can notice some details, but like I can't do what he does, where he takes in the whole house. And there'll be things that he'll say, "Did you see that?" I'm like, "No, I didn't," because I was scared, I was terrified. But this is a great way, and I think it's also a great way if you don't like Halloween Horror Nights, but you want to see the houses. This would be cool. Like, lights on, you get to walk around, especially if like there's an IP that's interested, or that's an interest of yours. Maybe it's Ghostbusters. Maybe you like the Universal monsters and you want to see the Universal monsters in a less scary way. This is perfect, I think, for anybody that doesn't want to experience Halloween Horror Nights for what it is. So again, I'm looking forward to doing one of these soon. I really want to do one of these tours. I think if I did it, I would just splurge and go for the 6 houses. Because why not? It's an extra $40 to $50 maybe. and you get to see 3 more houses. I mean, a 5-hour tour, that is insane. Like, that's a lot of time spent in those haunted houses. So I would love to see, or I'd love to hear your comments if you've been on some of these tours. What have been your favorite parts? What are some of your houses that you're some of your favorites? What are some things that you might have learned in last year's event or the years prior in an unmasking tour that nobody else learned? So drop that in the comments below, because I'm always interested to hear about the Halloween Horror Nights houses. But let's jump into more ticket information, and then we're getting really close to these frequent fear passes. So one last thing before we get into frequent fear, and that is going to be the Halloween Horror Nights Scream Early ticket, and it is $55 a night across the board. It does not change. You get into Universal Studios from 3 to 5 p.m. and then at 5 p.m. you can jump into the Stay and Scream line, which is where the annual pass holders will be that have come into the event and are ready to do Stay and Scream. So if you don't know what Stay and Scream is probably the best perk ever for Universal Studios and annual pass holders across any theme parks. So what it is you get into Universal Studios, you have to get in before 5 p.m. because at 5 p.m. they start to clear everybody out of Universal Studios. They close off the front gates and you cannot get in. You have to wait with the crowd that's coming in for the 6:30 start of Halloween Horror Nights. Now, Stay and Scream, if you're in the front gates, or if you're in the gates and you're inside of Universal Studios, once that close time hits, you are allowed to stay in Universal Studios, but you have to go to one of the Stay and Scream areas. They'll be pointing you, and they have great signage. Team members are very helpful in this because they want to get the park cleared, so you're helping them out, you're helping yourself out. You're getting to the Stay and Scream areas, and each house at Halloween Horror Nights will have a Stay and Scream zone. So for instance, last year, The Darkest Deal was back towards like Men in Black, and that and so was The Last of Us, and their Stay and Scream zone was in the Central Park area, right across the street from Simpsons. So right before you get into Simpsons, you kind of like where the crepe stand was, that's where the entrance was, and you shot out by Simpsons, like into the park, and they led you through into Last of Us and The Darkest Deal's queue. So you get in, you're in before everybody else that gets there late, right? So there's tons of people that are the single ticket holders, or like frequent fear people that don't have annual passes, or frequent fear ticket holders that are annual passes that didn't get to the park in enough time to do Stay and Scream. So Fridays, we always go on Fridays because I got Frequent Fear Plus. That's the night we typically go Friday night. And we get off early on Friday for work, and Ashley's off on Friday, so we just head. And last year I think, I want to say we got every single house done in Stay and Scream, like over the season. So we did every single house, and then like there were houses we were doing twice before anybody even got into the park, because what happens is about right around 6, they start to move you into the queue. And some of the houses start to open early. Like there's houses that'll open at like 5:45, 6 p.m. before the event even starts at 6:30. So you're doing houses before anybody else gets into the park. And so there was one time we were doing Dueling Dragons. We did it, I think we did it 3 times or twice, and then we did Yeti. And like we did 3 run-throughs of houses pretty much by ourselves because nobody was doing Dueling Dragons or Yeti. They were waiting for Stranger Things, or they were waiting for Last of Us. So like the original houses, nobody's really waiting for the original houses in Stay and Scream. They're all waiting for the big IPs or the big crowd mover. Like this year it'll probably be, I imagine Insidious will get pretty popular this year. Ghostbusters maybe. I mean, there's a lot of good big Ghostbuster fans out there. So I could see that possibly being a house that gets crowded. Quiet Place. I mean, this year they don't have like the big, I don't think they really have the big blockbuster house this year like they typically do. Like Stranger Things is a massive fan group. Last of Us was massive as well. But this year I'm looking at it, I'm thinking maybe Insidious and maybe A Quiet Place. And maybe some Ghostbusters. I don't know. Like it's going to be I don't think we're gonna have like as long of lines for Stay and Scream for like that you had for Stranger Things or The Last of Us. I think it's gonna kind of be dispersed evenly, but still the original houses kind of get overlooked. Everybody goes to the IP lines for Stay and Scream. So again, the reason why I'm talking about this, it's the exact same thing that you're getting with this early Scream. You're paying $55 to add that onto your single night or your frequent fear night because maybe you don't have an annual pass. If you're doing this, make sure you get there before 5 o'clock. If you're not there before 5 o'clock, they will not let you in. They will not refund your ticket. So that's one thing that is a lot different. Like Stay and Scream, you miss it, you just go hang out and you stand out in front of the park. You do this and you pay $55 and you miss that ticket, and it can be very difficult to get into Universal Studios at that time because the tolls, like the toll plaza, gets so backed up with cars. The parking garages are so crowded and people are constantly stopping and going and stopping and going after the toll plaza gets all backed up. It's a nightmare. it's scarier than Halloween Horror Nights at night on some nights. So if you're buying this, make sure you get there early. Make sure you get there for that 3 o'clock. Enjoy the park, enjoy the rides, go on Minions, do ET, get on Rip Ride, like do something for those 2 hours. Jump into Stay and Scream, because they're not going to kick you out if you have the ticket and you're there out after 5. They'll just say, hey, go do wherever you want to go for Stay and Scream and jump in that line. And there's different zones depending on which house you're getting in. But long story short, this is probably what I would say the best perk. So Stay and Scream is one of the best perks. You can buy into Stay and Scream, I guess, for one night. Honestly, if you did this, I don't think there's really a need for Express Pass, but it just depends on how quickly you want to get Halloween Horror Nights done. So definitely worth it. I would recommend this option if you don't want to spend the amount on Express Pass, because you can usually get 2 houses done during Stay and Scream without really having to wait much of a line. So highly recommend this. Now let's get into Frequent Fear, because there's a lot of dates and moving pieces with these tickets. If you don't know, Frequent Fear passes are basically like the annual pass for Halloween Horror Nights. They've got Rush of Fear, which is the September one. They've got Frequent Fear Pass, Frequent Fear Plus Pass, and then they've got the Frequent Fear Premium Pass, I think is what it's called. Hold on, I gotta actually pull it up because I don't actually know, because I don't ever buy that one. Ultimate Frequent Fear, yeah. All right, let's get into them. The first one that we're going to talk about is Rush of Fear Pass. So this is the one I think Ashley's going to get access up to 18 nights of Halloween Horror Nights. The eligible dates are going to be August 30th and 31st, September 1st, September 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, September 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th, and September 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So you get that month of September. September is not busy. It is a really good time to go to Halloween Horror Nights. I'm excited for the August dates, because I know it's opening weekend, but like it moved it a week earlier, and then Labor Day comes the next week. So I'm really interested to see what this does for that opening weekend and then the second week, because I don't think it's going to be as crazy as an opening night as they're used to. This is $179.99 plus tax. If you just want to experience Halloween Horror Nights, Ashley likes this pass because by October she's pretty burnt on going as often as we do. But I'll still be going with like Matt and Rachel or whoever goes. It'll probably be just Matt and I a lot. So I'm looking forward to it. I love Halloween Horror Nights. I don't really get spent on it. But Ashley, she's like, I don't want to spend that much money to not go in October. So, and I get it. October is very busy. Halloween Horror Nights Frequent Fear Pass is 30 nights. The eligible dates are August 30th, August 31st, September 1st, September 4th, 5th, 8th, 11th and 12th, 15th, 18th and 19th, 22nd, 25th and 26th, and the 29th. In October, it's the 2nd, 3rd, 6th, 9th and 10th, 13th, 16th and 17th, 20th, 23rd and 24th, 27th and 30th through the 31st, and they get that November 3rd date. November, that last weekend was kind of added in last year, I think it was. It's such a good time to go. I don't want to tell too many people because November is pretty quiet because they're done celebrating Halloween. They're like, I don't want to go in November. which is really funny to me. It's $239.99 plus tax. The Halloween Horror Nights Frequent Fear Plus Pass, which is the pass I have, is 40 nights. It is August 30th and 31st, September 1st, 4th, 5th, and 6th, 8th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, 15th, 18th, 19th, and 20th, 22nd, 25th, 26th, and 27th, and the 29th. In October, it will be the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, 6th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, 13th, 16th, 17th, and 18th, the 20th, 23rd, 24th, and 25th, the 27th, the 30th, and 31st, and in November, it's the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. It is $289.99 plus tax. So this is the one I have. This is the one I've always bought. I love it because it gives you, again, all of them give you opening night. All of them give you opening day, opening weekend, which is a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. The buzz there, the energy's there is so unmatched for any of the events around Orlando opening weekend. And then in that next weekend, because Labor Day, it's such a good time to be in Orlando. The weather's warm still, but it's not like drop dead. I mean, extremely hot sometimes, but like not often. September's when we start to see a little bit of a cool off here, and I say that jokingly because it's like 85 to 90. Some people would still go, that's really hot. It's cool enough for us because July and August are so brutal. But yeah, this is the pass I usually get. The next one, the Ultimate Pass, the Ultimate Frequent Fear Plus, the Ultimate Frequent Fear Pass is every single night. You get all the nights of Halloween Horror Nights, including Saturdays. So Frequent Fear Plus does not have Saturdays. Ultimate Frequent Fear does have Saturdays. Saturdays, I can just tell you now, and you can go and enjoy it, but it is so crowded on Saturday night. And the later you get into Saturday, it seems the more busier it gets, which is not usual for the other nights. Like the other nights, by about 10 o'clock, like I said, 10 to 11 o'clock, you start to see a little bit of a dip off. And then once you hit midnight, you can do a lot of the houses, and that's on most nights. Once it hits midnight, a lot of people, they're calling it quits. They don't want to stand in lines anymore. They don't want to get scared anymore. They're tired, they're beat from work. They want to enjoy their weekend and not have to sleep all day the next day. So I would say, for the most part, after 10 p.m., you really start to see a dip. That's it for all the passes. Let me know in the comments below, which passes do you typically get? Which ones do you recommend to people? Are you excited about some of the times that are coming up as far as like the August dates and November dates? Like, are those things that you're excited about? Those kind of add-on dates? Are you excited that it's longer than ever? Let me know in the comments below. But right now we're going to jump over into houses and scare zones, the ones that have been announced, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, so it is July 17th, and we currently have 9 haunted houses and 2 scare zones. I think one was supposed to release today. Halloween Horror Nights, you know their Twitter if you follow their X account. It's really funny. I really enjoy it because they joke with fans quite often. They had been announcing at 10:33, I think, every day, like houses and scare zones. But then for some reason today they didn't, and then people started tweeting at it like, what the heck happened? And Horror Nights was like, you cannot, I do my own thing. You have no control over me. So I found it very funny. But we are looking forward to hopefully getting it. And by the time you're listening to this, we probably have another scare zone or 2 that I have not mentioned. So if that's the reason why we're doing this at 6:55 on Wednesday the 17th. So if they've announced one tonight and then tomorrow morning, you might be listening to this going, dude, they've got 4 scare zones, or they might have announced the whole lineup. That's kind of what I thought they were doing today, because they didn't announce, because sometimes they've done that where they don't announce anything and all of a sudden everything was released at once. There has been some leaks and they have been accurate, but I'm not gonna do that. That's not fair to the creative team. I don't like leaks like that. I do like looking at the spec map, but that's just because I'm like, what's coming? But I've decided I don't like to, if there is a leak that I feel is accurate, I don't like to share, because I feel like that's not fair to the creative team. I love to speculate. I'll speculate for days, but when it gets to like leaks and it sounds like they're accurate, I try to keep that bottled up, because I don't think that's fair. I think it's fun to kind of speculate as a fan, right? But I don't know. Let me know, what are your thoughts? Do you like being spoiled on these things? Do you not like being spoiled on these things? I'm one that, it just depends, I think. I'm trying to pull up, I'm kind of trying to stall here because I was trying to pull up Halloween Horror Nights X because I want to make sure they didn't drop anything while we were getting home from work or eating. Nope, they haven't. Okay, so again, as of 6:56, they've not announced the third scare zone yet, but they have announced 9 houses, so let's get into it. A Quiet Place. So silence your screens if you want to survive this terrifying post-apocalyptic world based on the films A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place 2. Like the Abbott family, you must keep quiet as you travel from farmhouse to the woods to the foundry. As soon as you make a sound, monstrous creatures who hear the slightest noise will hunt you down and silence you for good. That sounds like a threat. That's terrifying. Good movies. The one that just came out, Quiet Place Day One of the best movies I've seen in a long time. Really good. Really, really good. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, the next IP. In this bone-chilling haunted house, inspired by the film Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, the Ghostbusters must team up to save the world from a second ice age. A new specter, Garaka, has escaped from the ancient artifact. He'll stop you cold with a whole army of ghosts. That's horrifying. Try not to freeze in fear as you dodge spears and ice, and he freezes people solid before your eyes. I will admit, this is probably bad. I've never seen a Ghostbusters movie, at least all the way through, or that I remember. So I've got some homework to do. I know that this is only on Frozen Empire, which is the newest, with Paul Rudd. People don't like that movie. But I am easy to please. I am always, if it's entertaining and I had a good time, I like the movie. And people always get on me because they're like, well, you like the movie? I was like, it did a job. It made me laugh, or it made me cry, or it made me happy. If it makes me happy, and I was like, oh, that's good. I can see it. If it's got a good storyline, I can follow. I love it, usually. So I'm excited to watch that and see what my thoughts are. But this sounds interesting. Ghost and Frozen things, like that sounds like it's going to be a really cool house. So I'm excited to see it. Insidious the Further. Again, never seen any of the Insidious movies, so I'm going to have to do some homework on that one. Not sure Ashley will watch that one with me because it's demons. But don't get trapped in the Further as terrifying demons try to ensnare you. The red-faced demon will lure you into his lair behind the red door, so he can possess your living body, and Keyface will unlock your fears with his key-tipped fingers to keep your soul trapped in the Further forever. This is every single one of the Insidious movies. I'm not going to try to name them. I think I could, and then I was just getting ready to start naming them. But it's like, I think it's like chapter 1, 2, and whatever. Red Door, and then this one. Like I don't know. I'm not even going to try because I forgot to pull it up. But it's all the Insidious movies. I gotta watch all the Insidious movies, so got some homework to do. I think it'll be terrifying. We'll do a hype list as well. I think I'm gonna have Matt on. I don't want to do one right now because we'll have him on to do one, but looking forward to it. Monstrous, the monsters of Latin America. Ten Cuidado. With La Muerte as your guide, you'll be asking for mercy from these 3 terrifying monsters. The blood-sucking Tayahalapuchi, owl-faced witch La Lechuza, and bone-ripping Al Silbon. How was my Spanish? Was that pretty bad? It sounded pretty bad. I believe Monstrous was in Hollywood last year, so I think we're getting this house, and they've got a second one. They've got Monstrous 2. So from what I'd heard about the one in California, if this is correct, it was really good. So I'm excited that it's coming to Orlando. And anything that they do with Latin America, I've been really, really a fan of that. Like last year, it was funny because people would be like, well, they did one last year with Latin America, and they didn't. But that being said, the start of The Exorcist it looks very Latin. And I think it was Latin. I want to say it was Ecuador or somewhere. But the start of it felt very Latin. And then they had the Chupacabra the year before. And then Chupacabra wasn't my favorite house, but it was good. And then anything that, again, that I think that they can do, kind of like this Latin Halloween is a lot of fun, right? Because it's like the Dia de los Muertos kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. Slaughter Cinema 2. This one is going to be, I think, pretty darn crowded. Now, these, I will say, if what they're thinking is coming true, this will probably be one of the best runs of original houses that we've gotten in a long time. Slaughter Cinema 2, it is the sequel. If you're dying for a B-horror film marathon, B-movie horror marathon, head to Cary Drive-In. Scream through scenes from creature features, grindhouse gore, spaghetti westerns, and more. I think how this was set up the last time is that you kind of like go through like different scenes in movies or like different theaters, and you're going through different experiences as you're experiencing them inside of the movie. Matt tried to explain this to me in the last one, and he said it was very good, one of his favorite houses. I'm looking forward to this. I think this is going to be one of the best houses of the year. Spoiler alert on my hype list a little bit, but I'm really, really looking forward to this one. Another one that I'm looking forward to, because I think it'll be pretty terrifying because we're not going to be able to know what's real and what's not. The museum, Deadly Exhibits. You decide to visit the new folklore museum exhibit, The Rotting Stone, when an evil escapes from within, destroying everything in its path. Night of the Museum gone bad. I'm all for it. Really excited about that one. We have another house, and it is a returning character in Scare Zone into a house, and that is now Major Sweet's Candy Factory. You've been invited to chaperone a field trip to a candy factory, but this sweet tour is about to turn sour when free samples transform the kids into candy-coated killers wielding sharpened candy. I think it could be scary. Hi, Hazel. Oh, what? Are you excited about sweets? Are you really? Me too. But I don't think it's going to be as good. Yeah. The reason why it's rumored that it might be back in the house of the Fast and Furious house, and for some reason that Black Phone was really good. Freaky was okay, but Chucky I did not. Chucky was not good, I don't think. But who knows? Maybe this will be better. I just don't like that house. I just don't. So we'll see what happens. I did love the Scare Zone, so I'm hoping it's good, but who knows. Goblin's Feast, so this is the one that looks like Wicked Growth. If you look at Wicked Growth, which was 2021, right? Yeah, 2021. Wicked Growth was the number one on my list. This looks very similar. It kind of has like that same vibe, the same colors. It looks very similar logos. Looks like we could have something like goblins feasting on humans. Like, that sounds fun. Visit a goblin village where hordes of bloodthirsty goblins, orcs, hobgoblins, and witches would love to have you for dinner. I mean, this sounds so good. I'm so excited about this one. I hope it lives up to the hype, because this one, when it first released, I was like head over heels about this one. It sounds good, and I love goblins, so I think this could be fun. The last one that we'll talk about is Triplets of Terror. A lot of people are comparing this to The Strangers, which is the movie with the three people that just kill for no reason. We haven't really gotten why they kill, but they do. They just like to do it. You're invited to the Barmy Triplets birthday bash, but beware, they celebrate by recreating their family's murders. Prepare for a gory gathering. So, birthday gone bad. Sounds interesting. Sounds like it could be fun. These people, like, the more realistic it feels, the scarier it is. Like, Halloween feels very scary, like Michael Myers, because serial killer just wears a mask. He could be real. Same kind of thing with these guys. Like, they resemble real people, and I think it could be kind of scary. So, again, there wasn't one that they announced, like, I guess besides Sweets, because I think I know where it's going to be as far as the house is concerned, and maybe I'm wrong, but every single one of the original houses, like, man, this could be really good. And I think that often about other houses too, but then you get into them in original houses. Last year they were really good. I didn't, people are probably going to come at me for this one. I didn't like Dueling Dragons that much. It was cool, but it wasn't like, it's one that's very forgettable for me. Whereas this year, again, I'm struggling to find where, with the original houses we're going to struggle besides maybe Sweets. So I guess we'll see. We'll find out. But that is the lineup so far. We still have 3 Scare Zones that we need to get, and the Universal Monsters house, which there's again been leaks. I don't want to talk about the leaks, but just kind of speculation. It sounds really good if it is going to come true. So you can look it up. I'm not going to talk about it, but I'll wait for Universal to announce that. So that's it for the houses and the Scare Zones. And I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up. I got a couple more things I want to talk about before we head out. 2 more things. Pass holders will be among the first to access Halloween Horror Nights Tribute Store with a preview on August 28th from 11 a.m. to park close. So it will be open the whole day. If you have a pass, you can go on August 28th and see what the tribute store is like for Halloween Horror Nights without maybe a ton of people. There will be a lot of people there, but there maybe not as many as Halloween Horror Nights on opening night. And then from October 1st through November 3rd, pass holders will be able to get a Universal Annual Pass exclusive magnet at the parks for free. I think it'll probably have something to do with Halloween, obviously. So make sure to grab that if you're an annual pass holder, and then also make sure to head to that tribute store on August 28th. That's going to wrap it up. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'll try to answer any that I have, or if you need any recommendations, or if you want to say, hey, Logan, you're wrong about something, I'm all for that too. Drop it in the comments below so that way we can give people the right information, and we can give them the best tips that is possible for their trip to Halloween Horror Nights this year. Halloween Horror Nights 33, again, it's coming up very soon. We're almost within a month of the event starting, which is absolutely crazy. Tune in to some of the videos starting next week, not next week, the following week, where we're going to start to visit Universal Studios because they're going to start putting out things pretty darn quickly here for Halloween Horror Nights. So we'll get some props, we'll get locations of different houses and different things like that. So I'm looking forward to going out to Universal Studios. Thanks for watching this video. If you watched this long, we really appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm over at TikTok as well at We Met Behind the Castle, where I do more short form content. This was a really fun one to do. It was really good last year to sit down and kind of talk about the event before the event. When something happens with the 3 scare zones and the other house, we will probably jump back on here with Matt, whether it's at the parks or on podcast or whatever it might be, and talk hype list and the whole event itself before we actually launch into Halloween Horror Nights for the year. Looking forward to that. But again, thanks for watching this video. We hope to see you guys in the next video, and we hope to see you guys at Halloween Horror Nights.
Bye.